I'm sexy. I'm cute. I'm popular to boot. I'm bitchin'. Great hair. The boys all love to stare, but I wish it was the girls. Hello. We are joined by Alex Jae this week, a returning champion, as we watch Bring It On for this week's episode of...
Well, we'll just tell your mother that we ate it all.
30-degree flip. So it's like 4 or something. Yeah, it's something crazy like that.
In
Yeah.
one go?
He just jumps
lands
and
on
flips.
his back on them.
Like Sonic.
Yeah, right.
He
Yes.
can also do a double backflip, which is...
Yeah.
Like a cheerleader,
that's
some
maybe
might
more.
also.
He also does these special...
It's too early to start talking
Sorry.
about it.
I saw a video of him doing this once. You know, like a burpee. So he'd do a burpee, but when he jumps up, he does a backflip.
Oh, wow.
And lands on his face into another burpee.
Ooh.
That's fucked.
He'd do like
That's
1,000
not
of them or
cool.
some shit.
That's not
Do
okay.
you do burpees now as part of your training regimen?
Not yet, but we'll get
Are
there.
you doing a training regimen?
I'm just rock climbing.
Oh, right. Cool.
No, you're
Thank
not
God.
just.
No, that's not
Oh,
true.
man.
That's not true. I've been doing like a little I've been doing sit-ups in my lounge room and stuff when I can't go bouldering.
Yeah, nice.
And
Yeah.
push-ups.
And push-ups.
And push-ups.
I'm getting shoulders. It's very exciting.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah.
friend just
Don't look at me right now because they're sleeping.
I purposely avoided the direct look at the shoulder
Yeah,
after
please.
that. I didn't
My
want you
friend
to
just
feel
did a charity
insecure.
thing yesterday to donate to the rural fire service, where for an hour he was going to see how many push-ups he could do with a chihuahua on his back because he
That's
owns
pretty
3
cool.
chihuahuas.
That's pretty chill.
He got up to 388, I believe.
I saw some guys on Facebook do a challenge to see if between the two of them they could do 1,000 chin-ups in an hour.
Ew.
I couldn't do 1,000 chin-ups in how many years has it
My
been? Nearly
life.
31.
How many? I could probably do 1 chin-up right now.
I can almost do one.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever even tried.
At my
Yeah, I don't
peak,
think I
I
could-
could do a full set of 10.
I don't
Man.
think I could do one to save my life.
When I was younger, I could do I could probably do a set
But
of
these
10.
guys
Like
did.
when I was 10.
They were pretty buff, but they lost steam. They got to fucking 900 by an hour, and they got to
That's
the 1,000.
so impressive.
insane.
But you should have seen their hands at the end of it, because
yeah.
after a while, because the sweat and constantly gripping the bar, they were doing it, and it's all sped up obviously because you don't want
They'd
to
be
watch
cut
an
to
hour.
shit,
They were just it was blistered. It was the whole hand was blister and blood seeping out and
Yeah.
stuff, and they were just yeah. Wouldn't do that again.
They weren't
that
wearing
sucks.
gloves or anything?
No,
Oh,
bare hand.
Jesus.
Man, I got to find a sport that allows me to wear fingerless gloves. What sport can you wear fingerless gloves for?
Sure,
You can
could
wear cool,
fluffy
workout
things like that
ones.
for rock climbing.
No,
Yeah.
you go barehanded. You need the skin.
Oh.
You need the flesh to rock grip.
Can't you
But wouldn't
just?
they have grippy
Not
gloves?
really, no.
Well, can't you just be gloveless during bouldering and fingerless gloves at all other times?
And then that way I can sexily take them off as a signature move before I ascend
With
the
your
rock.
teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
It wouldn't
yeah.
surprise
But that
me.
wouldn't be fingerless. You need...
You could get
I've,
it.
You have to get real,
I've
yeah,
done
get real
one
putty on.
burlesque class.
Yeah.
And you need the finger there to because you pull it off a bit and then
it's
yank it out.
brilliant,
They
okay.
actually obviously that's in
You don't
the,
want to
the
deep throat
first ever.
your finger to get to the fingerless glove.
Yeah.
Just sticking your whole
Yeah.
hand in your mouth, being also look what I
But
can do.
sexy.
Yeah. I like to put my
Bulimia-esque.
hand down my throat and let my stomach do the work, taking the glove off. I just suck it down, you know?
I've digested 5 sets of fingerless gloves this way by mistake.
How many sets did you do?
Yeah, I could imagine you rocking up to like a hang or like a
Yeah.
chill session, and you're just like, oh, these?
I don't. But
Fingerless
As
gloves?
we've said on the podcast many
Paramorphine?
times before, you could imagine him turning up to anything with any kind of affectation.
hold on. So I feel like I messed you. I should mention that I wore fingerless gloves for some time in the past.
Yeah, I'm sure you
Yeah,
did.
yeah. Like
At what-
I've worn fingerless gloves.
what age?
What age? Yeah.
Like 21, maybe. Yeah, 20.
Did I know you then?
No. It would have been maybe a year before we met.
Right.
Don't you remember that mysterious
It was when I went to
man that wore the fingerless
England. I had them.
gloves for a
I was
year?
wearing them in England and
He,
I brought
like,
them back.
Tasty.
When I met him, his on-stage vibe was kind of like Robert Smith crossed with Billy Joe Armstrong.
Yeah.
was-
Thank
Oh,
you.
I don't know who
Thank
either
you,
of
Queen.
these people are.
Robert Smith is the singer of The Cure, and his hair
Okay.
was a lot like that with the big frizzed up thing, and then the
Okay.
Billy Joe Armstrong was wearing a tie with a.
I did that once. I don't know.
Yeah, but it was so vivid in the
Maybe
memory.
we should
I
just...
wore it
Can't
to-
make
so what I did is
risky decisions like that.
when I
and
was
No,
expect
you did
people
it
to
at least
forget about
twice.
them.
I reckon I saw it at Raw one year. At
No,
the
I never
store.
did it raw. What you're thinking about is when you would have seen me doing it in real life. I did it more in real life than I did on stage because it was part of an emo look I was doing at the time.
Definitely saw you do it on stage at Comedy on the Rocks.
No.
Yep.
No.
100. I guarantee.
No, you guys made fun of me too much. I remember it vividly. You guys made fun of me too much. I never did it
I wouldn't
again.
have-
Like, I'm certain of this. Like,
that was
it was
before-
really mean. Like,
that
it
was-
was,
that was-
I
I went through
remember it
this
incredibly
with my
vividly.
therapist.
I don't
4
think you do
years.
because like I didn't speak to you that night. 'cause
Yeah.
I didn't know you. That
And
was like
I
the first
wouldn't.
time I ever
I've
saw
never seen you wear that something like that on stage, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't have made fun of you.
Comedy of the Rocks. I don't think so.
That was literally the first time I ever like saw you
Yeah.
as a person.
Maybe.
We didn't speak that night.
It's possible. Then,
I think
guess.
you should get into dressing like stupid.
Yeah.
Like
I
just
think-
something that stands out even more.
Yeah. Maybe.
What, he hasn't been doing that for the last 8.5
No,
years?
but like something like because he's wearing like emo stuff, like black shirt, black pants. Like, what if we got him with
Cutting
like
edge.
what if we got him like a white t-shirt and a suit vest and a fucking
Yeah.
Chief.
Panama hat?
Oh, kerchief.
Yeah,
That's-
I like a
that'd be
Panama
good
hat.
look.
I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. What
Yes.
about a pith helmet?
Yeah. That's what I call my dick.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
What's the
Pithy
wildest
helmet?
thing you've experimented with wearing on stage?
I've never experimented with wearing stuff on stage. Like maybe a
Yeah,
skirt.
you do keep it pretty simple.
Yeah, like a skirt or a dress, like once and never again.
Yeah, I think Rose is gonna have this one beat. It's
Yeah.
just like someone who came out as trans, and then
Yeah.
people are like, "Well, that's not the same outfit."
It's a different look.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like nothing is like overtly fabulous.
No,
You wear
Like,
a
I had
skirt, so like I can't, like
Can
I don't
ask,
have
is
the
it possible
confidence
to be
bare
subtly
my legs.
fabulous? Is that an option?
yeah.
Is all fabulousness by definition overt?
I think so.
No,
Yeah, right.
The Panama hat.
Panama hat is
Well, like-
subtly fabulous.
Well, I've worn that like kind of like multicolored furry cardigan thing. I would say that's subtly fabulous.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
not like crazy, but,
but
I
it
think
is
it has the word
fabulous.
multicolored in your description
Yeah.
for it. Makes it inherently unsubtle. But
Yeah,
look, I'm
you
not
wouldn't-
here
they're,
to.
they're like muted tones and they're all dark.
Sure,
It's not like
Man.
a rainbow flag.
but like, what could we get you wearing? Like, what's
What if that a person who thought that muted tones referred to races that were culturally tended to be shyer?
Wow.
What?
Muted tones, like
It's-
tones is in colors and muted is in quiet.
Yeah.
oh right?
So it's like they thought it meant like quiet races.
Maybe-
It's like, yeah, there's Chinese muted tones, huh? It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
well, they just had the hottest 100. What about muted tones and I? And dance monkey takes on a very different meaning.
yeah, that's not muted at all.
Yeah. I think what we're learning this episode is that Rose doesn't really understand subtlety.
What do we? What's like what's a look that you've worn off stage that you would never wear on stage?
I mean, I was like pretty like full on. I did a lot of MDMA and was pretty involved in like scene stuff from like 09 to 2012.
Yeah,
So like I wore a lot of scarves, wore a lot of like nail polish.
scarf and Panama hat on stage.
Yeah, I've like done like maybe twice. I was like did like eye makeup stuff. At one point, this is funny actually. You know how did I?
What were
Maybe
the
did I?
joke
I
of
might
that?
have told this on the pod actually.
No, just
Did I tell you about the time I like? You know how like girls dress up for guys for sex?
Yes.
And like schoolgirl, French maid, whatever.
Oh yes.
You know, a girl asked me to dress up like kind of recently, right?
Really?
And I like did it. Like,
As a schoolboy.
no.
As what?
I won't.
As a
I don't want to give away
schoolgirl?
too much information. They wanted me to, but they were like, just for this night, can you go like full emo?
Oh.
Like as like a nostalgic, like teenage, the kind of boys I liked in high school vibe.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't want to.
Had you previously?
You had your GHD already. And you're like, yeah, I'm not really into this
was an
idea.
element
Yeah, I don't know.
There's an
What?
element
No,
of
my
me-
nose isn't growing tremendously.
There
10
was-
shades of black nail polish.
They wanted me to do like
Yeah,
nail
yeah.
polish and the GHD and everything, and I was like, I don't want to be embarrassing. And then they were like, what if we did it in Adelaide? And so I did it in Adelaide.
Oh
I've like
my
told you about it at the
So
time.
you had to move states to do it.
No, I was just on holiday there.
No, you moved.
Yeah, I
You
moved. I live in Adelaide now.
Fake
I'm-
ID. Yeah.
That's why you're late every week.
But yeah, but yeah, it's like I did I did like a sexy little dress up, but what that meant was straightening my hair and putting on nail polish, and they were like pretty into it. It was pretty cool.
What if we did
How
you
interesting.
like in on stage like the late 2000s pop punk look of
Yeah.
to blazer and t-shirt?
That's like the vibe I was going for when I
I
used
think
to
you
wear a
could-
shirt and tie.
But you could do
It was
that.
like
What
untucked
about the
shirt and
early
tie.
but you
2000s?
could do that now because of your shoulders.
That's true. I could even do it without all the shoulder pads.
Yeah.
What if we
That's
did the early
exciting.
2000s look where he's like wearing like the big dicky shorts and
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think if Hastings wore like big Dickie shorts and like a pop punk band logo, people would just
People wouldn't even blink.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
business as usual. Whereas,
true,
like, the
actually.
Panama hat and scarf.
Yeah, that's
people would be
something.
like, damn,
That's
Hastings
something.
looks cool now.
Yeah, this is a
And
new
what is a
thing.
Panama hat again?
It's kind of like a fedora.
Yeah.
I don't know
Do
what
you
the...
know, like,
It's like the
trilby.
kind of stuff you wear when you're abroad.
Yeah, it's something you pick. It's something you pick up at a shop in Cuba and
Yeah.
then wear around.
Is it like
And
a,
then as soon as
and
the
then when
plane
you-
touches Sydney,
Yeah.
you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
was
you
those
suddenly become
fucking
very
things?
is it like a
self-conscious.
trilby or is it like a festival hat?
No, it's I'll look it up just so I don't get it wrong, and people are like, you're an
Not to
idiot.
geographically name drop, but I did that in Rome. I
Damn.
bought one of the like straw, like
Yeah.
old man straw.
It's
hats
like a
with
Lou
the
Bega
band.
People are so
I wore it
brave.
every day.
Yeah, that's like
I wore
closer-
a-
that's an actual
Oh, that
fedora.
one, and that's
isn't
what I
it?
bought.
Yeah. All right,
That's
there
what
you
I
go.
bought in Rome. And then as soon as my plane came into Sydney,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's not me.
When I,
What
when I was in
doing?
England, I wore a blazer every day the whole time I was over, like over a t-shirt and jeans.
And a
the
tweed.
second I landed
Tweed
in,
patches.
it's like a grey blazer, and the second I landed in Sydney, I was like 20, 21, and I was just like, no one can ever see
What
me
was
in
I
this.
doing?
I
When I went,
was like trying to fuck girls in England, and like being all like, hey, I'm wearing a blazer, that's pretty cool.
is
Back
what
in, I'm
you
like, I'm
guys-
so sorry.
You guys
Blazer
like
and
this.
t-shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
when I went
Oh,
to
yeah.
Chicago, I think I was at like the Sears Tower, and I found a fedora that
Oh.
like actually looked okay on me. Like
Okay.
to the point where like I even like texted my girlfriend. I was like who was not overseas with me. I was like, well, how does this look? And she was like, actually good. Yeah, and I was like, do you think I could bring it home, or just like, is it a here thing?
it
And she
just
was
a
like-
Chicago
And she was
thing?
like, you could bring it home. And like, I wore it out a bunch in Chicago. And
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm a fucking hat guy going
Yeah,
to
yeah.
jazz
Yeah,
clubs.
man.
Yeah,
Well,
as soon as I get off the plane, I'm like, well, this is going in a deep area of the closet. Much like myself.
But like actual fedoras look quite good. Like the thing that everyone on the internet calls a fedora is a trilby.
Yeah.
Like
An actual.
Oh.
yeah, like an actual fedora has like a wide brim and like they look.
What's
quite
the one
good.
that
It's a bit more of
Michael
like a
Jackson
traveler's
used to
hat.
wear? Is that fedora?
Whom?
Michael Jackson?
I'm
Was
not-
that a fedora?
Not
No,
a
that's
hat.
probably closer
more
to
of
the
a trilby.
trilby thing. Maybe.
I'm learning so much.
I don't
Yeah.
know a lot about hats. I know the difference between like a snapback and a fitted. I know what a 5-panel is.
Uh-huh.
What is the difference between a snapback and a fitted?
So you know the bit on the end where you clip
Oh,
at the
yeah,
sides?
yeah. So that's a snapback.
Yeah, it's fitted, it
and
just fits.
fitted is just fitted.
Yeah.
One size fits all.
Yeah.
Independent trucks logo on it.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
had an
yeah.
independent truck logo fitted.
Yeah, me too.
Wore it backwards all the time.
And you better believe I also bought the New York Yankees hat that Fred Durst made so famous.
Ah, damn. I didn't have it.
I wore
I've got
snapbacks
one
like
of
when
them.
I started
you've
hanging
got
out
one
with you guys.
now.
Wait, is that?
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I've
I still
seen
wear 'em,
you
man.
wear that hat,
Yeah,
I think.
so.
Yeah.
Is it, it's the one I'm
But you're
thinking
not
of.
wearing it backwards like Fred.
No.
But you could.
I
You
wish.
know, you
Thank
could
you,
do it.
Rosie. Thank you so much.
What's another? What outfits have you experimented with, Alex?
I'm just not
out in public.
I'm not cool or experimental with fashion at
Yeah,
all.
we're also cool for wearing our fedoras.
Like, I wish I could be like you guys, but like,
But like when we have
It's
to
just
look
not in
nice, like
me.
you scrub up very well.
thank you
Like,
so much. I like to
I'm
dress
over here
up.
getting
I can dress
fucking-
up, but nothing experimental. Like I mainly like my sister will tell me what to buy, or I'll just have her hand me up.
You'd
But, like,
be at Mardi
say-
Gras wearing like just a black dress.
Pretty much,
Nice and subtle.
yeah.
But would you say
I
like
feel good.
if you looked at a photo of yourself in like 2005, you'd be like, oh yeah, I'd wear the same stuff.
No,
now.
oh god, no.
Yeah.
Back
Yeah.
then it was all.
What were you wearing in 05?
Like Supre,
Yeah.
fucking boob tubes,
Yeah.
and the do you guys remember like the belts that we girls used to wear around the
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
waist,
yeah,
like the
yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
weaved
yeah.
Like big, like,
Yeah.
leather
stretchy
Yeah.
and
band
those,
thing,
yeah.
Be like
yeah.
a
All
a
that
weave
bullshit.
together sort
Yeah.
of leather, patented leather. sort
Just
of
that
thing, yeah.
terrible, terrible stuff. I was
Was
at my
it so
mum and
terrible. Have we come back around on that yet?
yeah, we will. I was at my mum and
Well, I
dad's
heard
last
someone
night.
in like the last couple of years be like, "Yo, Supra is actually pretty fucking good now."
Really?
Like,
I've
yeah.
not stepped foot in one in years.
Yeah.
They're owned by Cotton On or something. Weird
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Like they're all one in the
I
same.
believe it's the Just Group.
Is it?
I don't know. I don't.
I'm not going to
Like
fact check
Just
you.
Jeans.
Yeah, but they own like a lot of shit. That's I don't know. I
was
don't know
at-
specifically.
I was
what
at my
company.
parents last night and they brought out a roll of photos from this little like photo shoot that we'd done before my formal, like me and my group and all of our kind of respective formal dates did we
Yeah.
went to the Japanese gardens near our school
Oh.
Right.
and did like a little photo shoot just on mum's camera. And oh my god, the fucking fashion choices are horrific. I had to send them to
Yeah.
all my friends. We're so embarrassed.
Yeah, that's great.
And we thought we were so hot.
Yeah,
The,
yeah.
the worst of
I had
fashion, I
blonde
think,
straight
is
hair when I was
found.
year 10 for.
Oh, I had black hair with one thick blonde streak
Fuck yeah.
right in the
Cruella
middle.
de Vil, baby.
Fuck yeah.
And
someone listen to pop punk.
didn't I thought I was, and I didn't know how to color in my eyebrows, and that's
Yeah.
a big It's a big change
Big
when
thing.
a woman learns to colour in her eyebrows.
Yeah, I should
Yeah.
learn.
Anything pre that is
Yeah.
just delete it.
Yeah, just.
I think the worst of fashion you can find is at the year 10 formal.
Actually,
Yeah.
Like some,
yeah,
Do I
you should
have it?
see my year 10 formal shirt. It rules.
I'm hanging out-
mine is so bad.
I'm hanging out with
Oh.
my year 10 formal date tonight. She's visiting Australia. We're gonna hang out. She's
Cute.
coming to Cactus to say hi.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
This is the ex-girlfriend you've talked about extensively on the podcast.
Which one, Rose?
The one that you had in high school.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, well, yeah. It's a podcast. About
Have you got a
teens.
photo up of this?
Yeah, my ex is
I'm
coming
not.
to
I'm.
Cactus. It'll be
I'm
fun.
okay.
Catch up.
I'm going to hold the phone while I show you this photo because there's
Yeah,
no
yeah.
zooming in or lingering. You get like
Allowed.
2 seconds each to look at
beautiful.
it.
Can you pre-identify which person you
Okay,
are?
Yeah,
I'm
can you
on-
describe some stuff because people
Alright.
won't be able to see this?
Okay, yeah, this is our whole group. We're all doing like the cheers of the champagne.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
off to the
That's fine. It's
formal.
year 10 formal.
So is this year 10 or
This
year
is
12?
me here in this corner. No lingering. No lingering.
Oh wow, you
Don't
look
inspect.
so different.
Don't inspect.
Ah,
That's like a different person.
Yeah,
That's
it's
sick.
crazy.
You look like a Billie Eilish fan.
It's yeah, right.
And you also look pretty crazy in the photo. Oh.
Yeah, got him.
So that was my probably.
what about Dan?
I went crazy with hair more than fashion.
yeah.
Well, that hair's pretty different.
That was,
to-
and then I went like blues and reds.
well, I
and
think,
yeah,
yeah.
Well, when I
first
met you, you would
were
have had like bright
pink or
pink,
purple.
bright
hair or
pink.
something.
Yeah.
I was looking at photos.
But yeah, the purple worked for you, I felt.
Thank you. That was my like the purpley blue. I
Mm.
liked that, but it just got too crazy.
Rose,
Yeah.
what's your favorite hair period of mine?
Of yours.
Yeah, why not?
We're living it. We're living it,
what
baby.
her favorite hair period of her own was.
No.
Hastings isn't interested in
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Rank me.
I am offended that Rose hasn't complimented my hair yet, so I'd like to get some of that
My
action.
favorite hair
I
period of
told
yours,
you-
we're living it.
I
Love
told
the
you
haircut.
that I
Oh, man,
like.
that's so nice of you guys.
I did tell you that I liked
To give you that compliment I asked for.
I did tell you that I liked the direction you were going, the haircut and everything like that. But
Hmm.
then you just got immediately trumped by Jamie. Got a great haircut, and he looks
Jamie
so
got a good haircut. We can all have
Yeah,
good
nice.
haircuts. 2020 is
Yeah.
for building each other up, not tearing each other down. That's what I always say.
Did you ever fuck with frosted tips?
Do I ever fuck with frosted tips? I did not. But what I did fuck with when I was 12, 13 is where you push it all forward into a little skate ramp.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I had
that was
that.
the style.
Absolutely.
I had one of them.
Fucking
yeah, yeah.
wet look gel.
Yeah. No, I didn't dye my hair until I
Fudge.
left school.
Yeah,
Use fudge?
No, fudge came after wet look gel. 'Cause
Right.
When
I used wet look gel.
because I'm a couple of years older than both of you. So like the look when it first was very like the wetter the better.
I remember that. And like
Yeah.
if you can see the
Yeah.
brush strokes.
Yeah,
Like,
you want it to
and
be
it's
clearly.
gotta,
Yeah,
and
you
it's
wanna
got to look
see
like
the lines.
hard and wet as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and go up.
Fuck
Wet,
yeah, dude.
but also solid.
Yeah,
somehow.
and go up like that. And then when fudge
Alex,
came
is that
in,
going to be the name of your next solo show?
Wet, but also solid somehow.
Don't know what that means, but it just feels dirty.
I love it. You'll just have to come to the show to find out.
Oh, babe.
And then
nice.
yeah, after that, after wet look, that was when fudge and bedhead came in. And
Yeah.
it was more like everywhere was spiky.
But I graduated from fudge to Garnier surf hair,
Oh, yeah.
trying to give it that kind of cool. Yeah, it just kind of came out of the surf look, and
Yeah,
it
right.
failed drastically every day.
Yeah.
It's-
So I have the straightest hair in the world; it just falls down.
it's interesting.
Yeah, me too.
Consumer wise, because like when I was young and like wet look gel was in, like if you went to like any hair product store or even like a supermarket, like it'd be like row after row of wet look gel hair. And recently I went to like a 90s themed costume party and I was like, oh, it'd be so funny if I just like, it won't be funny to anyone else, but if I just went as me at 13, so just like a
Great.
skate kid, and I went looking for wet look gel, and it's like much fucking harder to find now. Like there's just
Right.
like one tub, and also like I guess you know the ravages of age. It doesn't look as wet or hard. Like it just
Yeah.
look, and like so
Well, your
I-
hair's not as thick.
yeah.
I'm
but,
not like I'm not having to show
But your
it.
hair's
Okay.
also like curly, so like
yeah. Well, it was much straighter then. Like
Yeah.
my hair only went curly when I was 19.
you
But
started.
me and my friend
you
were like,
started eating your crusts
because
after night.
me and my friend like had the wet look gel tub with us at the party. So occasionally we're just
That's funny.
So you know how
like a girl with a makeup bag.
well no because
Yeah.
the thing was we're like what
You'd be doing your hair, right?
what's it
You've
called?
transferred a little bit
No,
into
well-
a tinier
Yeah,
like
yeah.
No, we
Tupperware
had like
container.
the whole tub in our pockets because like what it's when you dip
when you're wearing cargo shorts that big, like you can
Yeah,
fit
yeah,
a
'cause
lot
I
of
had-
big
What
stuff
else
in
are
the
you gonna
pocket.
put
I had
in
big
there?
shorts.
They're so
I
functional.
had big shorts. I had a skateboard and I had a chain on my wallet.
Yeah.
But like we were doing,
You had a
you know
chain
when
wallet,
you like
say
you
it.
know
You
when
had a chain wallet, yeah.
You know when I
I
used to have a
definitely had
Bart
a
Sim. I
chain
used to have a
wallet.
Bart Simpson chain wallet. It was cool.
Nice.
That
But you
rules.
know when
Velcro.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You know when you dip like marijuana, like a cigarette in like PCP and they call it getting wet?
Yeah.
So that's what we were doing at the party, being like, hey, do you guys want to get wet? And then they'd be like, yeah, and we you just squeeze like Wentworth Jam, and they'd just be like, fuck!
This
Because it's so
sticky
sticky.
fucking
Yes,
gel.
and it's so
You
gross.
can't get rid of it.
Man, I'm so fucking here for Jamie's unironic use of marijuana cigarette.
Yeah.
No irony on that one.
You've never
That's what he calls
How
it.
else am I meant
In
to
his
know
own
what
time.
he's talking
You've
about?
never toked up on a marijuana cigarette before?
Oh, baby. I've been known to. I've dipped my toe in.
I think he might have had a couple of tunes on the Gatorade saxophone earlier today.
Not for a few hours.
Really?
Yeah, I'm fine.
We assume you must have like packed at least 2 before you came over.
No.
I assumed you were sleeping
I
because you
was.
had to sleep it off after talking about wrestling.
The show goes for 5 fucking hours. I was exhausted.
What
Like,
time did it start?
there's like a pre-show.
Maybe like
which has-
11, wasn't it? Or something?
The pre-show
Oh,
started
wow.
at 10,
Jesus.
and then 11 till 3, and then I watched another hour for fun afterwards.
Is this like the grand final?
It's like the start. It's the opposite. It's the start of the
Oh.
it'd be like the prelims or the semis or whatever. The equivalent.
Oh,
of
I
that.
don't know what they
It's the
mean.
start of final season.
I shot my shot with grand
Yeah.
final.
No, it's the
What
start
is it
of the
then?
most
I
important.
am no
period
longer
part.
interested.
It's like the
I'm out.
start of the finals
Yeah.
before
Okay.
the grand
It's the start of the
final.
most important part.
Well, Hastings never asked, but Rose, what about you with hair and dress, like when you were younger? Like,
Sorry, I
did
got
you
to
fuck
stop
with-
listening for a sec.
Did you fuck with like frosted tips or like dye or?
No,
Have
I
you
ne-
ever had short hair? Or have you always had longer hair?
No, I had short hair for quite a while.
Okay.
You had short hair when I met you.
Yeah, when I was 22.
It was still long. It was like
Um,
down to here.
Oh no, but like when I
Very
was,
different.
Yeah.
when I was 22 and I started doing stand up, it was I think just at the beginning
early.
of me growing. Like for quite a while, I did the like kind of like what you have, like the short back and sides with the like
Longer top.
side swept thing at the front. But then started growing that out and had long hair. But like I did all the gelled up stuff when I was younger. I tried to do that like Liberty Spikes thing.
Fuck
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
That's
What are
crazy.
they?
It's like, do you remember those really old like Good Charlotte music videos and like Benji Madden just
Yeah.
had
Oh, yeah.
spikes all over his
Yeah,
hair?
right.
Yeah.
That's Liberty Spikes is in the Statue of Liberty, so they go like around your head.
Ah.
Just like trying to be like a punk kid when I was like 11.
Did you ever do the one like the
Cute.
British pop star, like the guys from Five, like
I do
love
love
trying
Five.
to look it up,
Everybody get up. Sing
like this
out.
guy.
Fuck, what you waiting
That's
for?
like
What you waiting?
fucking.
Three,
That's
three,
like
two,
fucking
two,
wet
one.
look gel.
Oh, yeah.
I would have
Yeah.
100% done that. Yeah.
Oh man.
That's
I think I'm
hot,
gonna-
man.
I
But
think
like I didn't do the bleach tips or anything like that. I think like maybe I would have had friends that did it, and I would have been like, "Hey, mum, I want to be like David Gillies," and she'd be like, "Don't do that." And like I'm very thankful for that now because I
Yeah.
would have looked fucking.
I wanted to
terrible.
do purple hair like Mark Hoppus in the Josie video.
Fuck
Yeah,
yeah.
I wanted to. My mum actually caved and bought me like blue hair dye to do that,
Good for her.
My mum vetoed the
but then I
purple.
never used it.
But then I went black. I was like, one day I'm going to be friends with a man named Andrew Hastings, and I've got to get in his mind.
Like
It
the
is a
most-
fortress.
Did you actually dye your hair black at some stage?
Yeah, my hair was black from like between like 17 and a half and 18, 19 maybe.
Ah.
Yeah, right.
The most drastic thing I've ever done was like go blonde
quite liked
last
it.
year.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
and it
you
suits
did
you
change
so
your hair
much.
colour.
Thank you. And
can't
like everybody
picture you
does say
without
that,
it.
like I forget that you weren't.
Yeah, I
blonde.
can't picture you without
Yeah,
it.
you are a dumb bitch. No, no.
Got her ass.
Well, I
Yeah.
just
A point of pride.
still
yeah,
got
I
it.
just wanted to fix the aesthetic, you know, make
yeah.
it match up.
Yeah, exactly. Get it in sync.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were trans intelligent.
Yeah.
your hair color didn't match. Look, I don't know.
Yeah.
What if I got a devil lock? I think that's for the next time.
What's a devil
What's
lock?
a devil
It's
lock?
the
Yeah.
Misfits, like single.
Oh, the
front
worst.
strand. I love it. I think it looks
worst
great.
haircut
Oh,
of
I'm going to
all
look
time.
that up. I'm not.
I can't
You'll
picture it.
recognize
It's
it
just
when
what the
you see
Yeah, I
Misfits
can't-
have. So
I
it's,
can't picture it
it's
either.
you have short
It's
hair
the
and
worst
one
look.
long bit that you go into like one
Like a reverse
long
rat's tail.
Yeah, but it's at the front and it goes
Kind
down the
of,
middle
yeah.
of your face.
It
Why?
looks-
Oh, well, this like the first pages are just of a little boy with it, and it just kind of.
No, oh yeah, like
I like that one.
that's what it
That's
would
a
look
guy.
like.
No, that's like an
losing his
old
hair.
balding man
it's-
trying
it's
to
a-
do
But this
it.
is just like the first one.
That's
is just,
not a real devil.
because
lock.
that's just
a
like
fringe.
that's a swooping haircut of like an emo.
I
kid.
know what he's talking about in terms of the guy from the Misfits, and it is so.
Is that
It's like four
more
guys from the
accurate?
Misfits. No, that's Davey Havoc.
Okay.
But that haircut was also terrible. Miss Murder era AFI.
I'm going to
Really
look
bad.
Devil Lock hairstyle Misfits.
Guys,
And
you,
Hastings, can you get me a beer?
you will have to watch this episode with Google Images open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll need. Oh, that looks stupid as shit.
Right? It looks fucking
Yeah.
terrible.
It's just one fucking spike.
It looks so bad.
Oh, I hate it.
Yeah, it's just.
I would love
it's
for
truly
you to
awful.
do that.
I think what I'm going to do
It's
is
like, it's a fringe. Just an
Yeah, well,
an
it's a
outgoing
fringe, but they just smashed all together.
I don't like it.
They style it. Yeah, we could do
You've
it.
got one. Yeah,
You
there
just
it
need
is.
to have a fringe.
There it is.
I just needed to. Hold on. Keep talking.
Yeah, so I'm thinking next time I like sort of fall off the wagon and get like, you know,
Sad.
yeah, or like, you know, like really start hitting the drugs again or like whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh my
you just
God,
did
you
it.
got
If you
it.
if you straightened it down and gelled
Take a
it,
photo for your socials.
This is like the opposite of like how good you looked when you walked in here with the new haircut. It's so bad.
I like it. Do you want to start a band called Misfits 2?
Yeah, I do. What if we call it Misfits brackets Redfern and it's
Yeah.
a tribute to the
Yeah.
pub?
Yeah, let's go to
yeah.
Misfits.
Yeah.
Yeah, bracket.
Yeah.
Open bracket. Let's go to close
Yeah.
bracket. Misfits.
Misfits.
Let's go to Misfits.
Now I've got to see where this
Now
looks
everyone
like
who
for
listens to the pod knows
myself.
what pub we hang out at.
Oh, no.
Alex, I've never seen you.
Oh,
there.
yeah, that looks pretty
I've
cool.
been.
Yeah, it looks great, man.
Yeah, I guess some people could pull it off at Subcart.
Yeah. Next time my life like completely goes off the rails, I think that's going to be my cry for help haircut. Is a devil lock.
So we'll know.
Yeah.
This
Just
is a
spring
funny.
into
If I ever
action.
like get into meth, that's what I'll like.
Get into meth and
Well,
have that
speaking of
silly
going
fringe.
to Misfits, you know.
Oh, baby. I love.
Here's
were
a
you
funny
gonna say
thing that
something?
happened. I did a gig on Saturday night at Happy Endings in King's Cross, and they do like 2 shows on the Saturday now. And the first show at 6:30 had like a front row that I think was about 12 people from this like Hillsong-esque Christian church called Glow.
Whoa.
Fuck yeah.
And
that
just ladies of wrestling.
That's
Yeah.
what we all said.
Yeah. That'd
But,
be
like-
sick.
And they were like, we're not allowed to watch that.
But we looked the church up, and it's
Mark
like,
Maron's a Jew. We're not allowed to watch that.
but we looked up the church, and it was like one of those kind of like pyramid scheme things where like you've got.
Oh,
yes.
Man,
did
do you want to
you-
hear something that'll blow your fucking mind?
Is
dude?
it? I think I know what it is.
What's yours?
All religions are pyramid scheme.
Dude, all religions are pyramid schemes.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah,
Did you
fucking Buddha sends you to Nirvana
come up with
earlier
that
if you can fucking
yourself?
recruit 10 more
Except
people.
Judaism.
Except Kabbalah, the one true religion, which
How did you know that they were all from this place?
Because
Someone asked them.
Beck Danamuno was hosting, and she was just crowd working.
we're just
Oh,
trying
right.
to fuck them all.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, cool.
No, but what like one of the things that was funny, like they hated a few people. We don't have to name names, but I actually did quite well. But
ya?
which I thought was very surprising because I was like, oh, I'm gay and trans.
Yeah.
This is going to be. a bit
Maybe
of
they thought you were doing like a, you know, I don't want to say it now, but like maybe they thought you were doing a bit.
But I say that. That's
Yeah,
one of my
right,
jokes.
okay,
is
yeah,
that I
yeah,
say
yeah.
it's a
Rose says
sincere
this
thing.
is not a bit.
Yeah, okay.
Although I did say the
That makes
thing.
it funnier to them.
I did say
this
the
is
thing
not a
about,
bit.
like, I did say the thing
It's
about
like
like
a
you
evacuation
wondering
moment.
why I'm dressed like your sister, but I sound like your dad, and like one
Yeah.
of the guys just goes like, "Oh, it is the cross." I'm like, "Oh, fucking hell,
Fuck
man.
yeah.
Come on."
Oh, really?
Yeah, but then
Wow.
I'm surprised that they go out to the cross.
That's probably the only
like a
time
den
they
of
ever
sin.
have. Yeah.
I-
Yeah,
yeah,
the
I
name
don't
of the
know.
comedy club is Happy Endings. It's
Yeah.
a hand job reference.
yeah,
Maybe
What-
that's as risque as they get, though.
Risque business.
Yeah.
But it will. There'll be more on that later. But
Okay.
Did you
that-
get a hand job from one of them?
no.
Yeah. Listen, it is what it
I am
sounds
in.
like.
I am in.
But there'll be more on that later. No.
Hold that thought. Did you get a hand job from 2 of them?
3, 4, 5.
How many? Did you just give us the number?
10,
I ended up
Rose.
having an orgy with all 12 of the Christians. All right.
Yes.
No, we went out, like the guy who said the King's Cross thing. Luckily, I got to score points off him later with the goatee thing that I do in my act or whatever because he had a goatee.
Great.
But then him,
Giving all this away for free.
I didn't say what the joke was.
All right.
But Mantra 6 p.m. Melbourne Comedy Festival. He like they all came out after the show and we were out like having a dart or whatever, and 2 of them, including him and this other one, came up to talk to us. And it was like me, Sam Bowden, and Michelle Azevedo, who they're a couple and they're both bi. And like Bowden was on and he talked about being queer or whatever, and they didn't particularly understand that. So they proceeded to ask like all 3 of us a series of very, very unwoke questions.
Really?
And like the girl said something about having broad shoulders and was just like, oh, maybe I could be trans. Like, and we're
what
like,
the fuck?
oh god. But then
I like these people.
Like, it's well intentioned.
Yeah,
that-
like there's sweetness behind the intent. Like they genuinely want to learn. They're not doing it to be like gross.
have a go.
Yeah.
Next.
If this story ends
Well,
with them beating the shit out of you, I feel terrible.
Yeah.
But
It was-
at this stage, it sounds
it was
like
dumb and misguided, but the best thing that revealed itself about this girl was she was saying like, I've been thinking about like writing a comedy show about like being Christian, and I'm thinking that won't go well.
Oh wait,
Um,
so a
can't
comedy
go
show
well.
about being Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, do you remember the show Balls of Steel?
Yeah.
Right.
Nedge.
Yes.
Reese
And-
Nicholson was on it.
Yeah, well, this is what I was going to say. The Australian version, they had that same character of the bunny boiler, who was like the girl that would go to like gyms and the beach and stuff and like find a couple and hit on the guy.
Yeah.
She was that.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, and like in the years since Balls of Steel Australia, she'd become this born again Christian.
So
Yeah.
she
Ah.
disavows Balls of Steel.
Yeah,
Like,
where
she,
did she...
like, she told us that she was that, but like she seemed like she was kind of
I
like
don't think enough people will remember Balls of Steel that you're required to disavow it, I think. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one's asking about Balls of Steel.
Sure.
But I'm sure if she was pushed, you know what I mean?
like the
That
character
could be
she
different.
played doesn't feel very Christian, but you know, like trying to break couples up, but like.
I mean...
But then she was kind of asking, just like, could we all write together? And we're like,
Wow.
oh, no. Like,
Yeah.
usually you just kind of start doing stand-up or whatever.
Let's get a hold of this lady. Do a writing session.
We know
I
her
would
name.
be
I reckon I can convert her.
fascinated.
I mean, like,
Well, she seems like pretty fresh into it, I think.
wouldn't-
Because then when they were leaving, they were like, come to church tomorrow. Like, come and see her. We're like, no fucking way. Like, we're not doing that.
Plug church.
Yeah. Because that's their whole thing. Is just like they've got to recruit people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And we're like,
the word evangelicals.
Yeah,
I think.
we're like,
Then
not-
we were having a night off
we're like,
by
none of us are going to
a
church. But then later,
show.
I think we were out during the break for the second show or in between shows or whatever. And one of them came up who was like this really tall, striking black man. And he kind of like pulls Beck Dainamuno aside. And I could kind of like, I was kind of like in the conversation there, but I could kind of hear what was going on. And he was like, can I ask you something? And she's like, okay. He's like, I'm going to be very forward here. And I'm like, oh, he's about to ask her out and this is going to be really awkward or
That's
whatever.
so cool.
And then he goes, what's your experience with cannabis?
Was he trying to score some marijuana?
He was.
cigarettes?
Was that the literal words? What is your
Yeah, yeah.
experience with cannabis?
Yes, he
What
said
a
cannabis.
Weird, what a strange question.
Yeah, he was just a misguided Christian man. But then, like, poor Beck is like, look, I don't want to throw her under the bus here, but I don't think she'd care. She'd be like, I quite like it, but
Yeah.
I don't have any on me.
What's the
If
angle?
you go to this bar up there, years ago, you used to just say, could I get this and this? And then they'll bring it to you.
Ah.
Go and try. I might have just sent a Christian guy to jail.
Man, fuck yeah.
That's crazy.
It sounds
Yeah.
so I'm surprised that the writing meeting didn't take more of a hold, because like if I was with Hastings, I would have been like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, for
we're
sure.
doing this.
We've
Yeah,
got to
yeah.
meet this woman and like first like to ask her all about Balls of Steel, which is like a stupid show, but like
Yeah,
it
I would love
was,
the
like,
goss.
But yeah, you'd love the goss, and then to be like, and then what happened, and now why are you coming back, and also what are your jokes? That's
What
like a
could you
long
put- yeah,
form.
what
That's a
could-
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, it's like, man,
Writing
someone with a
sesh.
TV credit who wants like help from comedy writers.
Sure.
Man, I'll hitch my whatever to that, whatever.
I want to know what a writing session.
Also,
with a
maybe we'll
born-again
fall in love
Christian
on the way.
Is okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's, you know,
do
she
you want
sounds like.
A born again Christian.
Well, it just sounds like maybe like it's like it sounds like she sort of wants to be convinced.
Do you think so?
If she's
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can imagine you
she's
going
up
out
for
on
it.
dates with her and just keeping like, oh man, this is so good. Like this is a nice dinner. It must remind you of like your days of Foxtel. Like who was your contact there? Out of interest? And she's like, oh, I don't really speak to him anymore. And you're like, oh,
Just want to write it down.
oh, I'm
though.
getting a bit tired.
Girl, like sitting at like Hillsong, being like, man, they really put on like sort of a big production here. It's really great. These songs are really good. It's really entertaining. Hey, speaking of production and
Entertainment.
entertainment, did you happen to remember any of the phone numbers from when you?
You know how you're on TV.
You take her to Fox Studios and like blast from the past, maybe.
Who was
Just
the host of
point
that
at the
show? It was
sign.
Craig Rucastle. That's right. Yeah.
Was Craig Rucastle the host of Australian Balls of
I
Steel?
think he was.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Man, good on him, I reckon.
Because I know they brought over Nedge from the English Balls of Steel for the Australian one.
He
'cause
was the
like,
guy that
breakout
tried to
star.
like play those urban games and rile people
Yeah, he
up,
was
right?
urban
Yeah.
cat. He'd steal stuff from stores and then run out and then tease people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I actually quite liked that show back in the day.
I didn't mind it.
I wasn't into it.
Like there's,
I never watched it.
It's kind of like a lame
Like, it
version
wouldn't-
of Jackass.
Yeah, it wouldn't
Yeah.
date well.
Okay.
It's kind of like half Jackass, half Candid Camera.
Ugh, I hate both of those things.
Yeah, it's not- I mean, I like
it's
Jackass a
not my
lot.
thing.
love
Jackass
Jackass.
fucking rules.
Yeah.
Jackass does fucking rule.
You should watch it. Plug.
Nice. Yeah.
Ladies,
Yeah,
guys,
you
do
could-
You
cinema.
haven't seen Jackass?
Jackass would be a good one to do, I reckon. You could do-
It's literally on the list.
Yeah.
I've
I think
already-
someone's
Like,
requested
your
it.
list must be so fucking
It's
long.
really long.
Yeah.
It's
What's-
hundreds.
Have
dude.
you've been on it?
Men love
Yes.
cinema.
What did you
They
do?
do.
Braveheart.
Yeah,
Oh,
we did
Braveheart
Braveheart with
sucks.
Rosie.
Yeah, I know, and I felt so bad because it's 3 fucking hours long.
Yeah.
And we all had to watch
That's a
a
big
3 hour
misstep
long
on
movie.
I mean, I don't
Rosie's
want to
part.
rehash your podcast, but the weirdest thing about me with Braveheart is I hated it immediately. Like,
Yeah,
I
so
turned
did
it
I.
off halfway, but it was a woman who begged me to watch it.
That's
like
why-
someone,
that's- that's why we
someone
did
I
it.
worked with is like, "You've never seen Braveheart? What are you, a pussy?" And then like after like an hour and a half, I was like, "I guess so." Like,
Yeah.
because this is horrible.
That-
Like, I'm not enjoying this at all.
Mel Gibson sucks. Like,
Yeah.
he's a bad actor and he's unentertaining.
He directed
Lethal
it
Weapon
too.
rules.
Ugh.
Yeah, but that's why we did it on their pod, because like my ex just used to
Yeah.
constantly berate me, but like, this is the best movie
You
of
have
all
to
time.
see it.
And then she just watched me watch it for 3 hours and was like, that sucked.
Oh, that sucks.
Like, that's so bad.
Just everything about that sucks.
Speaking
Yeah.
of exes, if I'm seeing my ex from years ago tonight, just like to catch up and have a beer. No, fuck off. I'm married.
you fuck
I'm not gonna. I'm not. I'm not allowed to fuck my ex-girlfriend.
You're
That's
married
off limits.
to the
Oh,
game.
is that a
Not on the
rule?
menu.
I'm
Also,
fascinated.
she's got a partner. It's all. It was years ago. Don't worry about it. What I'm saying is, am I obligated to like?
Pay for stuff.
No. Like I don't remember her favorite movie. I just remembered. So like, what if am I a dick if I don't remember like stuff about it? It's
You can
okay.
also-
Like
you can also assume that she's grown and changed, and maybe that she doesn't love Dude, Where's My Car as much as she did.
Yeah, also, didn't you break up like a decade ago?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but we stopped sleeping together like 5 years ago, so it's a little different.
I don't remember what the favorite movie of a girl I broke with less than
Yeah,
that.
I
much
don't remember
time.
what
You
I
sound like a
wrote.
terrible girlfriend.
I've purposely avoided that asking that question of any partner
Oh, I'm a man.
because then I'm
so
going to
I-
have to watch that fucking
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
What's your pitch for Ladies Guide to Cinema? What would you
Ooh,
do?
I don't know. I haven't been asked
What's-
actually,
what's
Alex.
Like Thanks, Jamie.
No, I don't know.
Yeah,
My
what's-
go-to one would be Fight Club, but I know you've done it.
Yeah.
You've like so that's your movie that you would recommend to women
Yeah.
and dates and
Oh
stuff.
no, like the one I obnoxiously
That
do.
you're
and-
obnoxious
Yeah,
about,
and
yeah.
it's like I know it's not for them, and I'm still like, oh, but seriously.
but it's so good.
The one
yeah.
that you ironically love.
Ah,
It's not ironic.
That's
Yeah,
all right.
no.
We didn't mind
the
it.
intensity is perhaps.
I used to
a little
love it.
ironic.
I like
Yeah,
my
it's a great
because
film.
my ex, like my high school ex, loved it, so we watched it
We've,
a lot.
we've probably said this on the podcast one night, but I came downstairs at Powerbomb and Hastings was on the door and he was talking to Ben Elwood with like it's a very spirited conversation, and I had to ask you something, and I was just kind of standing there waiting for a lull, and then you just look at me and go, "Yeah, we're talking about Fight Club."
Oh my god, you and Ben Elwood in a heated discussion about Fight Club.
Well, think about Tyler.
I
okay,
want to
so
see it. I
Yeah.
want to see it. Jamie,
Yeah.
what's your movie?
I've already pitched it to Beck. Step Brothers.
Step Brothers
Ah.
is
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Well, it's like also it's
Yes.
one that I wouldn't necessarily be like, you've got to fucking watch it, but like a lot of people have done it to me, and it's like a weird.
Yeah,
like,
I get Step Brothers a lot because I've never seen the whole thing.
and it's
Neither
a
have I.
weird,
Yeah,
like,
I'm the
I
same.
hated it the first time I watched it, and now I love it. I think it's brilliant, especially the first hour. But it's kind of like a weird spot between, like, dumb intellectualism that's,
yeah,
like,
right.
that, like, film buffs might not, but, like, dude bros will.
Yeah.
So that's
It's a
interesting because
huge
I
dude
hated
movie.
it when I first watched it too, but I've since watched bits and pieces, and I can tell like if I was to watch it again, I'd love it now. And we're the same age. Do you think that's like what age were we when that came out?
I think it was 2005. Oh, no, 2008 maybe?
I think maybe
Yeah, that
like
sounds
the
about right.
subtleties like went over my head
Yeah.
or something
I
of the
think-
comedy.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like post Anchorman.
Yeah.
yeah.
I just used to hate John C. Reilly. For
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
years.
I
I
could,
loathed him.
Mr. Cellophane himself.
I couldn't get on board with John C.
Love
Riley
Chicago.
until
I love
like
Chicago.
Dr. Steve Brule.
Yeah.
Like, everything before
Oh.
that. Because
I was never- yeah.
hugely unpopular opinion, I fucking hate Chicago.
Yeah.
Like, it's so bad.
I love it, but
Like
just-
everything, the stage.
Love
I
it.
thought it was
the movie.
okay.
I've seen Chicago like in London and shit. Like I saw it
I've
live.
never seen it
like,
live.
yeah.
I'd love to see it on like
It's
Broadway or
really
West
good.
End.
I
Yeah.
was in an amateur production of
Damn, who'd you
Chicago.
play?
Oh, baby.
Just one
John
of the
C. Reilly?
girls.
Were you in the Cell Block Tango? Did
Yeah,
you
just one of the
that's
girls.
cool,
And then
dude.
I was also one of the girls that like hang off Richard Gere's character
Yeah,
during his
Yeah.
number.
So you just had to dress up as different versions of like flappers or whatever.
Of an extra, yeah. I was an extra.
Yeah, right. That's sick.
The chorus.
Yeah, at the moment I'm on a Star Wars thing, so I'd probably also I know you've done that as well, but yeah, like Star Wars is a big
There's so
dude.
many Star Wars films you could do.
I watched Empire on cocaine last night, so probably that one right this minute.
Right, we just did the original trilogy.
Yeah,
Rogue
Just
One would be an
finished
interesting one to
Jedi.
do because that's divided among dudes.
dude, I rewatched Rogue One recently, liked it even more this time.
love it.
fucking love
When
Rogue
did that
One
one come out? Is that one of the
Yeah, that
the
came
new
out-
ones?
One of the new ones, a couple years ago.
2016? No.
What's the one that?
2017.
But everyone hates one right now, don't they?
Rise of Skywalker, everyone hates. It came out recently. I haven't seen that yet. Have you
Loved
seen it yet?
Loved it.
Is it still in cinemas?
It's
I think
very
Beck's a
silly.
big
Does anyone
Star
wanna
Wars
go with me
fan.
this
She
week?
really liked it.
What?
I'll,
Does anyone wanna
I'll,
see
I'll
Star-
come with you and watch
I kind of
it
want to see
again.
Star Wars this week.
It's like I would love
I'm
because
never
I'm
watching
interested in
it
seeing
again.
it a second time because the first time I was like you know it's dumb as shit. Like it could have been something so different and probably so much better.
Yeah.
But I was very satisfied with it.
I'm trying to get a Tinder date to come see a movie with me this week because she doesn't drink and I don't know what to do with that. So I'm suggesting a movie. If she doesn't like Star Wars or doesn't want to go to a movie,
Take her to go see
Then I'll come with
Parasite
you.
so you look smart.
yeah.
I just watched Parasite and it fucking rules.
In my
What's
experience,
It's
when-
like a South Korean movie, and
Oh.
it's like it's been out in the movies for like 9 months now because it's just having this insane run.
Well,
Winning all these
hasn't it
awards.
kind of been a thing now because it's like everyone's hoping it'll win the Oscar
Yeah, it's
despite
winning
being a
ton
Korean film.
of awards.
wait, what country is
Yeah.
it from?
South
South
Korea.
Korea.
Interesting.
Oh, is that the one that people are saying like don't remake this and whitewash?
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Let
right.
it-
And also,
cool.
like,
Its own.
you can't because I was talking to my wife about this after we saw it because we were both like, it's brilliant. But if someone was like, why? You'd just be like, oh, you have to go see it. Like, I can't
Right.
say anything about what it's about.
I
'cause
respect
it'll
that.
give
I've
it
heard
away.
that from a few
I
people.
respect
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Should we
yeah.
talk about this movie?
Sure.
Yeah.
Fuck
Okay,
yeah.
hello, welcome to We'll Just Tell Your Mother We Ate It All. It's a podcast about teen sex comedies and things thereabouts. This week we're doing Bring It On. It's a 2000 American teen cheerleading comedy film directed by Peyton Reed and written by Jessica Bendinger. Good name. The film stars Kirsten Dunst, Eliza Dushku, Jesse Bradford, and Gabrielle Union. It was the first of the Bring It On film series and was followed by 5 direct-to-video sequels, none of which contain any of the original cast members.
Really. Does that happen a lot? Have you found that
Yes.
a lot in your podcast?
Yeah, heaps.
Yep.
Heaps of
Heaps.
direct-to-TV
Yeah.
with no original cast.
Well, American Pie set them all.
Mainly,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's like our main go-to.
Road Trip's got one. Van
Yep.
Wilder's got one.
Yep.
Waiting.
Van
has-
Wilder's got 2.
Waiting has one. Yeah,
Waiting
but
does.
Rise of Taj has.
Have you done Waiting?
Yeah.
We've done Waiting, but we haven't done Still Waiting, not titled after the Sum 41 song.
But it should be.
It's the lead, I think the main actor from Still Waiting would be David Koechner. Like,
Oh, right.
I think he's like one of the.
Oh,
top
he's gone and
billed-
got a job somewhere else. Or,
No, I think he's still
in
there.
there.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Still waiting. Damn. Ain't that poetic?
Road Trip definitely has one. Van Wilder has
Yeah.
Freshman Year, which is after Rise of Taj.
That
and
has no
Nowhere.
one because Rise of Taj
Yeah,
has
Cruel
Cal
Intentions
Penn,
has 2.
Yeah.
but- Oh, yeah, yeah.
All right. So with Bring It
There's
On,
a lot of it.
can you paint me a word picture, Rose, using information there on your phone? How did it do? Did people like it? Did people see it? What was the reception?
I can tell you because I looked at it today. It
All right.
did pretty well. People mostly liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed to be like, reasonably well received.
How many
from what I
times
can
have you guys all seen this movie?
gather.
Maybe 700.
Yeah, I reckon I've seen this movie over 10 times.
I reckon,
Yeah.
I would say over 10, but also watching it for this, I hadn't seen it for
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like-
haven't seen it for a while.
15 years.
I reckon.
maybe.
Mysteriously hard to get a hold of.
Yeah.
Unbelievably.
Really hard.
Like, it must be exclusive to like Amazon and
We
the
But
US
the-
or
certainly
something like
the
that.
didn't
sequels-
pirate it.
No, we
This-
didn't.
Nope.
We don't
not
need
at
to thank
all.
Alex for that at all.
No, I wouldn't even. I don't even know what the word means.
If I ever do a crime, Rose isn't invited.
Like, yeah, but the sequels are on Netflix, but not.
Yeah, all of them.
The
Well, when you
original.
They're all
search
there.
Bring
But
It
you
On-
can't even buy the DVD of
Yeah.
it in JB Hi-Fi. Like,
Yeah.
all the
What?
fucking sequels are there.
Did someone
but,
get
like,
cancelled and we don't know about it?
I think it's just that they
because
must
of
have a
that.
deal
Yeah.
with like Amazon in the US.
I think it's because
Right.
Kirsten
It's, like,
Dunst
exclusive
is
to it.
like too sexy.
for this.
Oh, just
Yeah.
like for
In
like
gen.
the medium of film.
The thing when
Yeah.
you
Do
search,
you know what watching
think that's why
rewatching
it's
this
banned.
made me think?
Yeah.
Kirsten Dunst, like one of my favorite actors. She's
good.
so good in everything.
She's good.
I think
Perfect
she's
Mary
fucking
Jane.
Fantastic.
she was a great Mary Jane.
Eternal Sunshine.
She's great in
Melancholia.
she's great in the second
Especially
season
that
of
scene where
Fargo
she's
as
like
well.
lying in the moon and the naked. And
I haven't
woo,
seen.
In Marie
That sounds-
Antoinette,
It's a very
there's
good
this
thing, but
one.
very
okay.
good.
Have you guys seen Marie Antoinette?
No, it sounds insufferable.
It sucks. Yeah, but have you guys seen
Amy
Marie?
loves it.
Have you guys seen Marie Antoinette?
No.
All right, Amy listens to Podcast.
God, that'll be on the guys.
Okay,
The dudes
so there's
guide to
this-
lady cinema.
Yeah.
There's
me,
this,
me and Hastings host.
there's this There's this one shot.
Fucking girlfriend
In the
made me watch
movie.
fucking Sense and Sensibility. It's bullshit.
Talk about my feelings and shit. I hate it.
Little women, what about big men like us?
Sorry, I'm just gonna fart into the mic.
You're listening. Dude's Guide to Lady Cinema with Jamie and Andrew.
I shit myself.
And I just come.
Oi, that's sick, bro. High five.
If we did the man's guide to lady cinema, we'd have to have a soundboard.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah.
It wouldn't be called the.
It'd
wouldn't
literally
the
be a
reverse.
radio, like
Would
a
it be called
commercial
like the
radio
men's
show.
guide to chick cinema or
Chick-
something?
yeah,
like
it'd be
that?
chick-
Yeah.
yeah.
What about like
Chick
the
flicks.
fucking
Yeah,
ultimate
yeah, yeah.
dude's guide?
Well, the pod's
to
called
lame
Dick
chick
Flicks then.
flicks.
Huge
Dick flicks,
dicks
yeah,
watching
true.
chick flicks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge
So the
dicks
podcast
watching-
is Dick Flicks.
Dick flickers.
Dick
watching
flick.
chick flicks.
Fuck yeah. But there's this.
Sup, dick flickers?
There's this. yeah.
Pew.
Ah, we just came up with a spin-off.
There's this one scene.
But we've said this before, but like the spin-off is like every other podcast.
Yeah, most
Like,
movie
yeah,
review
every movie
podcasts.
podcast. Like, yeah, this
It's
podcast.
This podcast.
All
The
right.
only thing that gets us out of the water is that I'm a gay trans woman. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are so fucking lucky.
yeah.
Oh my god,
We
if you
know.
didn't have Rose, holy moly.
There's this one shot in Marie Antoinette that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Where she's like lying on the. It's Kirsten Dunst as Marie Antoinette. And she's lying on the bed and she's like naked, right? And she's got a fan and she's like fanning herself. And that's obscuring her breasts
Damn.
from the camera.
Hi.
But she's
I
wearing
hate
these.
this.
She's wearing these.
But she's got a real good
She's
read.
wearing these like blue like thigh high stockings. They're like the ones without the belt where they like self suspend
Yeah.
or whatever. And they're like that image is so burnt into my brain.
I
that,
haven't
like,
even seen it, and it's in my brain.
but like 2 months ago, someone who I regularly have sex with, I was like, if you have any blue stockings, like, I was like
Well, have you seen Melancholia?
no.
Have
I know
you?
the show you're
I
talking
have
about.
not, no, but I know what it is.
There is a scene where like it's kind of like about like the world is about to end and they all know it, and like
Man,
there's
just
a-
kind of like right now, huh?
Yeah.
There's a tremendous sense of
Prescient.
melancholy, hence the title.
true.
But there is one scene where just like kind of out of nowhere and really for no reason, like because her character has this kind of like breakdown in the movie, but she is just lying kind of beside a lake on their property, like under this kind of blue moonlight. So blue works very well for Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah. Wasn't really the
but
blue
just like
that-
just in the nude,
It's the
and it
thighs.
is the most resplendent thing I've
wow.
ever seen in my entire
Is
life.
it full frontal?
You
Yeah, do you
might
see lips?
You might not. You might not.
Do you see lips, Andrew?
Go to your room. No dinner.
He's stood up to like kind of walk that one off.
I was very happy with that.
It's very funny.
Is it full frontal? Yeah, do you see lips?
I'd love you to do that to the Pentecostal Christians from Happy Ending. They'd be like, yeah, they're red. They're right on
That's
display.
right.
And you'd be
I
like,
was
tell
gonna-
me more
I
about
Get a
was
it.
bit of
about to
a
say if I
rouge.
could answer the question. You just said this, but you don't say flaps, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you see some like it's the
The Majora,
it's basically everything
know what
but
that
the
is.
veg.
the outer.
The,
Picture.
the Gavin Rossdale. Full bush.
I like
Glycerin.
yeah.
I love that song.
She's glistening.
Oh,
we
nice.
should talk about this movie.
Yeah, go. I want everyone else to go first.
Why did you not like it? I loved it again.
Not saying
rewatching
that.
it.
No,
It's so
not
good.
saying that I didn't like it, but I just have a point to
Oh,
make
okay.
about it.
Right.
I really liked it.
It's a fun movie.
I think it's fun.
I think it's good.
I think the actresses are great. It's upbeat. They hit the tone perfectly. You really buy the sexual tension between Kirsten Dunst and the love interest who plays Ryan on The West Wing, whose name I can't remember.
Jesse Bradford.
Yeah.
Mr. Sidemouth.
Yeah, exactly. He's great.
Mr. Smirkmouth, isn't he?
Yeah,
Chemistry
yeah.
between those guys were
Smirk.
great. The bitchy
Yes.
other cheerleaders were
Look,
great.
he's got the Paul Rudd smirk face.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's, I kept seeing Paul Rudd up
Yeah,
there.
he's certainly following someone else's career path, like career, like not career path, but like character goals or whatever. you
Yeah.
know. Going for a similar vibe.
I thought
Yeah.
Lindsay Sloan as Big Red was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. I really liked it. I've definitely seen it heaps because my sister was like, it's her favorite movie still to this day because she's a dancer and was obsessed with it when we were teenagers. So we watched it together this morning, which was a fun little trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's different though on a rewatch.
Yeah.
It's different from what I
my
remember.
my sister used to watch it all the time, so I'd watch it and pretend that I didn't like it because I'm trying to pretend that I'm a man.
I was in PE class in high school being like, bro, these chicks are fucking hot. Can we watch Bring It On again?
As a man, we're all like, fucking yeah.
I went to an all-boys school and we watched it like once a year. I'd be like, boys, Bring It On again.
I went to the movies with the boys.
Yeah,
Oh, but
absolutely.
but I'm misguided, so I'm like, oh, a movie with like all these female leads. No.
Can we get more Jean-Claude Van Damme shirtless?
Yeah.
Gross, a gay trans woman as a boy. It's just like a movie with a bunch of gay.
That's what I thought men were like. That's how I was trying to act. But
Yeah,
she was
thought.
always just like the little brother
what I
character
like.
who is
What's he from?
He's in Not Another Teen
not
movie.
another teen movie.
I thought I
He's
recognised him.
the
He's one of the
little
main
brother
three
who's like
dweebs.
pining after Lacey Chabert.
Yeah.
Yes.
But she would constantly be like, "That's you. You are that."
Really?
And it was accurate. That-
Really?
yeah.
You the little shit.
I was a little shit because I was a little brother at the time,
Right.
and I just constantly like wound her up like that.
I really liked his part. I found him really funny now on a rewatch.
He is quite
Yeah.
funny. I
I
think.
thought that
yeah.
was really funny. I'm like, whoever's written his part was good.
Yeah. That was someone who has been the
Comedically.
snotty little
Yeah.
sibling and made
You
their
should
life
see
hell.
his IMDb photo now. He looks ridiculous.
I'm gonna
Really?
look it up.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Talk
It's
for a bit.
it was a lot less hammy than I expected.
Yep.
I thought it was going to
Yeah.
be really cheesy
There's-
and gross.
the stakes are like a bit. It feels less silly,
a
but
classic-
silly in a deliberate way more than I
It's
remember.
Yeah.
classic sports movie structure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Even
it is
down to
classic.
the second place finish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
But gaining the respect of people. What I wanted to get around
What's
is
your
like
take?
that I did enjoy it, but for continuity fans, this
But-
begs a question that I brought up last week when we watched Do Where's My Car. This movie, like in terms of 2020 watching, homophobic, fatphobic, like
Yeah, oh, of
slut
course,
shaming,
of course.
Rapey.
but rapey, but it gets much more of a pass because it's generally good natured, which is like
Yeah, that's
Right.
fair.
which is very because everyone like last week went to
Also-
town on what was crook about Do Where's
Also-
My Car, but this it
Also,
was great.
also female director, female writer.
No, male director, straight
Was it
male
male?
director. Yeah,
Was it?
Peyton Reed.
Yeah, I bet he
He
was
did-
straight male.
No, he is. He's
No, I'm saying
married.
like straight
Yeah,
as in
yeah,
his
yeah.
dick's hard.
I just assumed
I'm
Peyton
saying his
was a
dick's
woman.
hard when you wrote it.
No, he did.
okay.
He did the Marvel Ant-Man movies.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
so yeah, in saying I enjoyed it, there are definitely parts of it that I was like, "Bleh."
But see,
Wow,
I
this
feel
guy,
like-
this guy does look very
that
intense.
has not aged well.
The problem is, and I was saying this last week mostly, Alex, is that like how do you tell? Because like it's easy to go back and find movies that you don't like and then really center in on the unwoke stuff and bash it because of that. But then when like the movie you
The
do
movie
like it
itself
because
is
you're
okay.
well, when not
Because
even
I-
when the movie's okay, it's when you have better memories of it and you enjoy it more as a nostalgia thing.
But
You find yourself much more willing to overlook any part that you can be seen as problematic,
100%.
which means that Bring It On doesn't necessarily get tarred with the same brush as, say, something worse of that era.
But like
100%.
in terms of like what did these come out like the same year maybe like as like this and Dude Where's My Car?
Yeah.
I loved Dude Where's My Car at that age, and I secretly loved this movie.
Yeah.
But like rewatching it, I fucking hated Dude Where's My Car, but I still enjoyed this. And like like they're being like, "Do you speak fag?" I'm like, you probably shouldn't say that to a
that
gay man.
cast, that just
Um,
that one car scene is just rife with like if
Yeah.
they just cut that one car ride scene. I
But it's
think
also
they'd
kind
get
of
a bigger
accurate because if
pass.
you were an openly gay guy in high school, you probably would be like, "Ha, yeah."
I do speak back.
That doesn't really hurt me every time you say it.
That's the scene where I forgot this from I reckon I've seen it around 10 times, and I forgot this about how he's like sometimes I slip a digit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
he's-
Oh, yeah, with the underwear thing. Yeah, that's fucked
And
up.
I paused it and looked at my sister like, does he mean? And she's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's rapey.
Yeah.
But then he does it at the
I don't
end,
know
and
if
she's
it's
like,
rapey as much as it is rape.
Oh,
Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
there
rapey's a bit
There
soft.
are certain
They
actors
kinda-
who were probably should have been convicted.
They
Right.
also
that weren't.
do go out of their way in that scene, like a scene later, to make it sound like it's a consensual thing, that she actually like asked for it and likes it or whatever.
oh, I missed that. I think I was
But,
just like spinning head.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
missed
but like
that part.
it
You're walking around for the rest of
What
the
is
movie.
that?
Oh, yeah.
well,
Yeah,
it's just,
it's mostly it's with his girlfriend.
yeah.
Right?
Well,
Like,
it's just
Are they a
Oh.
couple though? Or?
no, like
They're
they
like-
fuck
they're
each
fucking,
other.
right.
Oh, I thought he meant he just does it to anyone.
No,
who's-
no,
Well,
he does it to his
I
cheer
also
partner.
think
But like that, in some ways,
the
that's worse.
cavalier. But also like when I watched it last night, even though it's not explicitly non-consensual, it's like the attitude of it. Like I don't know, it felt like there was more to the story a little bit. Like there may be other people would. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like
Yeah.
hey, there's this weird little secret game, me and my girlfriend, and he's there going, "Yeah, I fucking finger my fucking girlfriend when she's." You know what I mean? It's
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So which brings me to the main question that I have is like, why does Bring It On get away with it versus movies that don't?
Largely female cast.
Yeah, that's probably part of it. I would say that it's considered a.
But
girl-
then couldn't you go the other way with the argument and be like, wow, with a largely female cast, they really went fucking like hard on like misogyny
but
and
that's
stuff.
so that's what it's more than one factor. So I think like a factor would be that it's a largely female class. It's the audience is targeted female, so that means when you watch it, you're not going, "Oh my god, think of the gross dudes watching this." You're thinking,
Yeah,
"Oh,
that's a
this
good
is going
point.
to women," so it's gonna. It's even what's being said is interpreted differently, even if it's delivered the same. And then on top of that, it's just a better movie than Dude, Where's My Car? Like
Yeah.
it's more.
yeah,
It's
but
i
I'm not saying
like,
just
dude,
do Where's
this
My
movie
Car.
is
Oh
like-
no, but like it's a good movie is my point. The quality of the movie gives it extra. Like there's a lot of factors that give it more rope.
Like the little
as opposed
brother
to one
has
thing
more
that justifies
good,
it.
well-written laugh lines than the entire movie of Dude, Where's My Car?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think a lot of the laugh lines in this movie, like you could say, are like hedged in like problematic aspects.
sure.
Like so.
But I don't think anyone would argue that it's like what we're doing isn't like a head-to-head, one-to-one comparison of how woke two movies are. We're saying why does this get a pass and why does other stuff not? Number of factors, one of which is that it's probably just a better movie. Like people have a better time with it.
Yeah.
Which I'm not saying that's right or good.
I'd
I'm
also
just saying
say
that's just what it is. Like
why bother?
Like a lot of
joking
the
on those
problematic
things?
shit from like Project X is amplified by the fact that it's a dog shit movie.
yeah, but
Yeah.
that doesn't. That's not necessarily fair though. But it is true. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it
it's
colours
I
your,
would say
like,
that it's-
opinion of it.
Yeah, I would totally say it's not fair though.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's what
It's
I'm saying.
hypocritical,
Like,
yeah.
You pick and choose.
It's the
wokeness
definition
to
of hypocritical.
criticize the quality of a movie.
For
Do you
sure.
think Bring It On gets a pass on the unwokeness though?
I think I would see far less articles about Bring It On than other movies
Oh,
from the
yeah,
2000s about how it's aged poorly, or
Oh,
even
right.
like movies from the 90s or 80s.
Water on my face. I'm so hot.
But I think that it is like a good point. That is like it is more good natured. Like there's more hateful shit in some of the other movies, and it's more prevalent in other movies than it is in this one.
And what I did like, I know I hated that they used the F word, obviously, but I did like that guy's storyline later kind of developed when he had that little flirty interaction with the other male cheerleader at the Nationals.
Yeah.
And it wasn't
Well,
a
like,
joke or a
Well,
punchline
that's the good
or
thing is like
anything.
he kind of gets to win. Like when the team is walking off and they're like, "Oh, you're a cheerleader, you're gay," and they're like,
That
"You
too.
lost."
Yeah.
Like, so
and then when
they-
he has that little flirty moment, like no one's around to see it, no one's then taking a stab at him or anything. It's not for a joke.
Like,
It's
"Oh,
just
you
a nice
go."
little kind of, I guess, development in his storyline.
Yeah, he's not made to be a loser at all.
I also
Yeah.
I also think if we're talking specifically about the problematic stuff around the gay character, I think a lot of the factor is there's a very complicated and long history of like the relationship between straight women and gay men. That's a very specific dynamic that has problems going both directions. And then that relationship is going to, that's just in our culture, is going to inform people's interpretations and criticisms of the movie. So in the sense that, oh, well, if it's a girl movie about girls, then the stuff that they say is going to, even if it's straight male characters in it, it's a girl movie making fun of a gay man, which is a different dynamic to a boy movie making fun of a gay man. Because one is like, haha, we're kind of mean and there's this weird complicated relationship. The other is, we kill these guys.
We hate them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's murders that happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's a
We're
very
friends-
different dynamic.
We're
Like,
friends
it's-
ribbing on each other as opposed to.
Well, I think there's also a lot of pretty gross, horrible stuff in the relationships between straight men and gay women. Like, you see horrible stuff in
Yeah.
like culture all the time. But like, yes, the tone and the
Or
like,
gay men and
the-
straight
women.
yeah, absolutely. The surface level interpretation is much friendlier, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if like that, I just don't want to like dismiss the actual fucked things that happen in that dynamic. But like, it's like non-consensual touching. There's like little reports and stuff like that. Like,
Oh,
it's
the
like-
amount of like misogyny in the like gay
yeah,
male
it's like
community
it's
is
shit like that. Like,
enormous.
there's a lot of. It's not. It's, I'm being vague because it's in no. Like I have none of these groups, so it's like I'm not gonna. fucking
I have friends who like don't want to go to like Stonewall anymore because they have just like had their ass felt up by
yeah,
guys. who are
Rose,
just
get
like,
him. Fucking take him down. You show him who's boss.
No, but really,
They can't get away with this behavior anymore, Rose. You tell those gay men.
what the fuck do you want from me?
It's hard to finish the sentence after that, isn't it?
Yeah.
What I was saying
No,
before
but
is that
yeah,
we don't need to get into specifics of it.
know what you mean.
You're
Yeah,
great.
we all know. I knew what you meant too. That's why I was like. Anyway, where are we up to?
We can get serious occasionally.
We're pretty right on, aren't we? Wait, let's do it.
What are we for time? Oh,
Yeah,
we've
we're
nearly
at
done an hour.
58. I don't have anything to do, but you two need to go, right? You guys got a gig.
I gotta go.
Yeah, but
I'm not in a rush.
I think I'm
but
probably going to have to message and just say put me in the second half.
I'm already on.
I don't know if I'll get there on time.
But yeah, like we're at an hour. Let's wrap it.
Yeah, okay.
Did anyone have any final thoughts about the movie?
I have so many notes, you guys.
Oh, really?
Go
Pop
let's-
through 'em, pop
Well,
through
I'm
some
used to my
highlights.
podcast.
yeah, that's true.
kidding.
Which is much more professional
No, I'm
than
kidding.
ours.
I'm kidding. It was mainly just about the fashion. It was
Yeah.
beautiful and gorgeous.
No,
and
like read
it's, like,
some out,
beautifully-
whatever. Like,
beautifully
I'm going to
90s.
message the guys anyway. And
No,
ask
no,
if
no,
I
I
can
Oh,
do it
actually,
later.
I had
Love
one.
the
I had
fashion
one
and
hot
the
take as well. Do
hairstyles.
you want
Yeah.
to do one each?
I want to know what the
sure.
notes are.
Do you want me to do my hot take while you prepare yours?
It's none of it's hot though.
All right. Well, do you want me to prepare?
Yeah.
All right.
What's the most lukewarm?
All right. So.
Oh, there's actually a little bit of a hot take. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
What I was thinking about is, I think, and this is just interesting, it's all very explainable and it makes sense. What I think is interesting is just in my experiences growing up in Australia and talking to my friends who also grew up in Australia, the cheerleader fantasy is not one that comes up a lot. I don't
Yeah.
really know
'Cause
any
it's not a
guys.
thing over here.
Oh, yeah, let me build it up here. Like, just
Well,
cut
you
to the end here.
Well, yeah, you just fucked up my sentence before, so I can do it
Yeah,
to you now,
baby.
you dumb fuck.
Yeah,
Oh my
baby.
lord, this is heated.
And it's already a hot day anyway.
It's really hot and I've had a few beers, so I'm a bit crotchety, okay?
Yeah.
I love you. I know we don't say it often enough,
Oh
but
my
I do.
lord.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I
What a
think it's
roller
interesting, but
coaster.
I also don't think I don't really understand. Like, we're removing the context. I don't really see what's so sexy about cheerleader outfits. They're
Ooh,
quite
I thought
covered.
they were hot as shit.
Surely, in some way, it's kind of connected to the kind of schoolgirl
Yeah, exactly.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. But not for me because I didn't go to a school that had cheerleaders.
Right.
I had a
Love
cheerleader in
the
my grade at
Torres
school. She was
outfits.
one of the Sharks cheerleaders.
That's
for
pretty
the
sick.
Cronulla
That's
Sharks.
cool.
I had a cousin who was a cheerleader.
Oh no, so two of them were actually.
like for the Roosters and then the Eagles, I think.
That's
Like rugby league was like the only Australian sport that had cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, it was.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it.
makes
I never
sense.
thought those cheerleaders were hot either.
Do they even have that anymore?
I believe they do.
Yeah, they
Right,
do.
yeah.
I think my friend still cheers for someone.
Oh.
All right.
You
My
can't
hot
promote.
take was
Yeah.
something that I definitely, it's not hot take, but something that I like kind of didn't realize back in the day is like, what do you guys think? Is it's kind of like painted as though we're meant to be on the Toros side this whole time.
Yeah.
And then when the
East Compton.
Clovers,
Yeah.
when the Clovers come in, like, I don't know, like, I feel like if this movie was made now, it would be an underdog story. We'd be going for the Clovers. It would be
Yeah.
focused on
Yes.
them. And instead, we're meant to kind of be on the side of this, like, very elite, very rich
Yeah.
white team. Because,
Yeah.
like, if you see both of the Missy and
Yeah.
what's her name's houses,
Oh yeah,
they're...
the remake would be
Insane.
a Clover's story.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
would, right?
Well, it
Yeah.
feels
And I
like
felt-
Well, there's a bit of a.
this
swap
there
maybe
is a
is
swap
like
at the end,
white-
but it's more like a sympathy swap. Like,
Yeah.
we're meant to be like, oh, yay, they did it.
It's a little
good.
pity.
I think maybe it's
Yeah,
supposed
it's
to be like
pity.
rich white folk like patting each other on the back and being like,
That's what it
they
felt
won
like.
and we're being nice about it, aren't we? Great.
Yeah, oh, we're so
Like,
gracious.
They like at the expense of like doing the like white savior story, which they kind of go for, but
They
then
try.
the black team like
Yeah.
reject it or whatever. But like, yeah, if that's not the storyline, it's like, well, they won and like we're okay about it. We're being
and we're
we've
being
got
gracious
humility
losers
and
because we're going to go back to our mansions.
yeah.
But it just felt kind of weird. Like the whole time,
Yeah.
I was like, am I meant to be rooting for not the East Compton Clovers? Are
Yeah.
they meant to be the villains? Like how they rock up
Yeah.
and like do the show off, like
Yeah.
showdown and
They've
stuff.
been scammed too.
Yeah, they can't. They've never been allowed to go to nationals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to reframe. Like, if you filmed it from the Clovers side,
Mm.
them going into the Toro Stadium and fucking showing them up with their own
Damn,
routines,
yes.
you'd be like, oh, hell yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I kind
yeah.
of was cheering for them
Yeah.
Yeah.
during that anyway. But I feel like the filmmakers trying to make us be like, oh, the poor Toros just got showed up for stealing from
Yeah,
the
yeah.
inner city
Yeah.
black
But their
and
whole thing
Latino
is like, we
cheer
didn't
team.
know it was
Yeah.
Big Red's fault.
Big
My-
Red.
my-
So I
I-
just found that really weird.
I wanted to say is because we're all kind of leading up to a special episode is like this of all the things that are parodied in not another teen movie, this is one of the best. Like they nail it.
I haven't seen
I don't
19 in
remember
a
it.
really long
Yeah.
time.
Well,
They nail this movie very well,
Do
like
they?
with all the
Okay.
like the putting the word cheer in front of things,
Right.
And
Oh,
like,
I do. Yeah.
when the
yeah,
black
cool.
team shows up, like
what about that?
like the
No,
chant they're doing involves talking about being black as
That's
like
right.
a bunch
We're
of white
black.
girls and what.
We know it.
Yeah, we shake our
that's
big
right.
booties and show it. We ain't white. We definitely ain't
We
white.
definitely. That's right.
Yeah.
What about?
Are you leading up to that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
Cool. Fuck yeah.
a
What about-
special one coming up.
What
yeah.
about the scene in Spider-Man where it's like raining?
Yes.
And she's like wearing
MJ's
like
upside
she's
down.
wearing like a pink
on.
top. No, she's
Go
the
on.
right way up.
It's a purple top, I think.
Oh yeah, he's upside
Spider-Man's
down.
upside
sorry to
down,
say.
and like it's raining and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Imagine if it was a blue top. You'd go mental.
I-
Oh, you fucking would.
And
you
wouldn't
wearing
love her
stockings.
in
I actually
blue.
prefer to imagine it was a white top. If you know
Do you
what I'm
think?
saying.
Do you
Yeah,
think? Do you think after they wrote, he lets her put on the Spider-Man suit?
I
would ask
think
that.
after
I
they
would ask-
root,
request that.
he
You'd have to,
seals
right?
her
I
up
would-
with
I would.
webbing so
You'd
that
have a
other
go.
men
I'd
don't
have a
touch
go.
her. That was pretty foul.
I
actually
missed
didn't
it.
hear
I
what
was
you-
thinking
I
It was a
didn't
about
hear
very
what you
gross
s-
Spider-Man
Oh, okay.
joke.
I was thinking about
I didn't
trying
even
on.
hear, so I'm just going to be
It's
repulsed.
not
when I
worth
listen to
repeating,
this
yeah.
again
Yuck.
later.
Yeah, it's good stuff though.
Should we wrap it up then?
Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
well, I have one hot take.
Okay,
Eliza
go.
Dushku is very attractive.
Could
Who's
get
that?
it.
That's a pretty hot take
Faith from
on a
Buffy.
hot chick.
I never watched Buffy.
Is
she Missy?
I knew that's
Ladies go to
why
Buffy
you would think that
cinema
is just because
now.
she was a Buffy character.
Well,
Is-
this movie has a lot of connections to Buffy.
Does it?
Yeah. It's filmed in the same high school.
oh, that's right. Yeah.
Faith is a major character.
Mm.
The one of the two bitches is also a major Buffy character in the 5th season.
And Jamie Kirk jacked off to it this morning.
Oh my God,
Is she,
amazing.
is she
What
an
are the
evil
odds?
vampire like Courtney
She's
or whatever? Her
her name is Glory, and she's a
Who's
god.
Faith?
Oh, that's
The-
right. yeah.
Faith is Missy.
Missy. Oh, yeah, okay. I can see that.
That was it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Watch Buffy.
All right, let's hurry this up. I gotta go home and do push-ups before I see my ex.
I gotta go and do an open mic and sweat and maybe bomb. Who knows?
I'll go get a beer,
Yay.
maybe.
A sweat and a bomb. It's the
Yeah,
best combo.
I love it. Alex, you're the guest. You've
Mm.
presumably got lots of things to plug.
I just my own podcast, I guess.
You wanna-
Called
we've got some fans elsewhere in the country. You want to plug festival shows?
And yeah, so our podcast is called Ladies Guide to Cinema, and I'm doing Melbourne International Comedy Festival, Sydney Comedy Festival, and Newcastle.
Where's
this
the
year.
show? What time is it?
So, 7:10 p.m. for the second half of Melbourne. I think it's 6th to the 19th of April.
right.
7:10 p.m. at Crowded in the Vaults, and then 30th of April and 1st of May
Sydney
for
Comedy
Sydney,
Festival?
and then TBA for Newcastle.
Oh, right.
So please
yeah.
come along. It'll be a fun show. It's called No Sorry You Go. And,
Yes.
But mainly listen to my podcast.
And yes, the Ladies
Please.
Guide to Do Cinema is a very good
Rosie
podcast.
has been
and I've been
a
on an
guest.
episode. So
We reviewed
go and listen to
Braveheart.
that.
Yeah, me and Jamie will be on soon to do the Final Fantasy games and the Legend of Zelda games.
See,
It'll be-
Oh my God, I'm triggered.
This is the difference in our podcast and their podcast is like
That's good.
here we make
Dude.
you sit in this apartment which is just like worse than a sauna
It's not
and we're all
too
sweating.
bad right now.
I'm
No?
having a terrible
Yeah.
time.
I haven't
But-
moved.
I know when
I
she
think
says worse, what she means is that my shirt's off.
But I'm here all day
There's a
and it just
shirtless
really
Hastings.
compounds.
It's
But
hot.
like I turn up to do Alex and Beck's podcast and like they've given you little like tissue masks to put
We
under
had
your
some
eyes and
face
stuff.
masks
It was
on the day.
We bring beers every week.
This
Yeah.
is good.
Are you
True.
trying to
To
tell the
enjoy
listeners
having
to
a beer.
do Alex's pod?
I'm just saying it's a different experience.
We can do face masks if you want. I'll do it.
Yeah.
My
Fa-
eyes, man. I've been, like I said, I've had a big weekend. I get some bags under my eyes.
Oh, it
Well, we
feels
take
good.
selfies after every episode, so maybe
Yeah.
we needed to do face masks one.
Yeah.
I've got
Yeah.
some face masks in my bathroom.
Let me know how the bags under my eyes look in the selfie, listeners, please.
Oh, I'd like to know
Airbrush.
how the bag in your wallet feels.
Pretty empty.
Pretty light.
My plugs come to Comedy at Papa Getty's. It's the third Tuesday of every month. Next month, I think this will come out before that, is Dan Rath is headlining and Luca Muller is the MC.
Oh, yeah.
From Melbourne, lovely guy. Dan Rath, infamous for the Ferris Bueller episode of this podcast.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
That was great.
I'm also doing Melbourne and Sydney Comedy Festival, 6 p.m. at Mantra, 5 p.m. on Sundays in Melbourne, and I think it's the 6th and the 8th at the Factory in Sydney. It's called Goddess. Please come to that so I
Ew.
can afford to live.
Yeah. How good's affording to live sometimes?
I'd
when
love
it
to know what it
happens.
feels
Yeah,
like. It's
I
been a
haven't.
while.
I'm deep in debt to my mum right
Yeah.
now, but
Oh, I will
I
be.
look
I think
forward
after
to it.
dinner tomorrow night.
I look forward to it.
We're
What,
having a
do I have
chat.
anything to plug, James?
Powerbomb.
Powerbomb. Oh, I thought I wasn't sure if we did. Powerbomb
Yeah.
comedy every
I was
Friday.
gonna-
Staves
I was gonna
Brewery,
give that
8
to one of you guys.
p.m. What do we got? But anything big coming up? This show doesn't come out for a few weeks, so just come every Friday. It's always a good
This will be
fucking
out in
lineup.
like a month from now or something.
Yeah. It'll all come out. It's all going to be good. What else is coming up? I'm going to America soon, so if you know anyone who sells weed in New York or Florida, let me know.
Is it
Tampa
not
specifically.
legal there yet?
Hmm?
Is it not legal there yet?
Not in those two states.
Bummer.
No.
Isn't it legal in New York now?
It's not. I looked into it.
I thought it was.
Anyway, New York should be fine. I'll just go to an open mic. But if anyone knows where to get weed in Tampa by any chance, let
The
me
sound-
know. I would like to sleep while I'm there.
The sound guy. That's what
Yeah.
everyone always says. Ask the sound guy.
At WrestleMania? Ask the WrestleMania sound.
Yeah, he'll probably get some weed for you. Just go up to the desk.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Come to Powerbomb. I'm always doing gigs. Come see me. I'm doing good stuff at the moment. Come through. The other day, a friend of mine said, "Oh, you've been doing good like the last few months. You've been you've been really funny," and he didn't realize how much that hurt me.
Who was it?
Yeah, sorry about that.
It was Zach. Yeah, no, it was very sweet of him to say.
Someone came up to Hastings the other day and recognized him from bouldering and not comedy, which was pretty funny.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
very
He
funny.
recommended me from open mics
Yeah,
6
he
years
also-
ago.
Yeah, he also was like,
Whoa.
and then like in the lounge as well, packed like right before
Yeah.
showtime. He's like, "So you still doing
Was
comedy?"
this-
And Hastings like, "I'm on."
Was this last week?
Yeah,
Yeah, last week. So it was like, I remember you from Mug and Kettle 6 years ago, also bouldering yesterday.
Yeah.
Was this someone who did Mug and Kettle, or was it just an audience
No,
member?
just
An audience member.
I
Wow.
think.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, Rose is so cut right now.
I had a great set. I don't give a shit.
No, for the
Um,
not getting recognised before the show even started.
I have a different name to what I used to in the Mug and Kettle days. To be
Does everyone
fair.
else smell excuses? It kind of smells like excuses around here.
I get fucking recognised from comedy all the time.
I never do. Oh, we've talked about
we
this.
talked about this,
recently.
but then
Oh,
you got
yes.
But
recognised
then that day
immediately
it
after.
happened. Yeah, that was very
Literally
cool.
the day we were
It was very
talking about it.
kismet. Yeah.
It was good.
Is your full name Alex Jae Simpson? Sorry.
That's a fucking niche ref.
That's
Oh,
good.
you're The Simpsons. Yeah.
No, but like, it's a very specific joke.
Yeah.
in
Sorry,
one
I just
episode.
for some reason I thought of that and could not say it.
Is that Homer's name?
Homer's middle
Homer
name is
Jason?
Jay, but it's spelled J-A-Y.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. I know that's your J-E, but you see where I'm going with this.
But I
Well,
made it up.
Jay
It's
is
Jay the
also-
word, not Jay
It's
the
real
letter.
Not your
anyway.
actual surname.
It's not real.
Alex J.
anyway.
Simpson.
I mean, witness protection.
Yeah. I said your surname.
You did, and
the
you
other day,
pronounced it correctly.
But then you were like really taken aback. They're like, oh, I forget that people know.
Yeah. I never hear it from comedians' mouths, and
Yeah.
it's very jarring when that happens.
But you used to perform under that name
very
at the start,
briefly,
right?
right
Yeah.
at the start when I was like 27, I think for like the first 6 months, and then no one could MCs could never pronounce it
Yeah.
or read it, so I
Kyle
changed
struggled with
it.
it a
You
bit.
did the reverse, Alexei, where he went from Alexander Howard to Alexei Toliopoulos.
Yeah, but it works, right?
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
so
but people
works.
would get it wrong. Like some
Yeah.
of them maybe
Like-
callously on purpose.
Yeah.
We know who we're talking about.
And I've got it wrong in the Powerbomb Comedy Festival marketing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no, but that's because people would just put the UP.
Yeah.
But like there would be
Yeah.
like a certain comic we all know, be like Alexei Toliopoulos. Oh, come on.
Hilarious.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
joke. Greek names
So
are weird.
funny.
Yeah. But
So
ironically, this person who used to do that changed their stage name because they said people couldn't pronounce their actual surname.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll tell you after.
We'll tell you
I think
all.
I
Are
know
you
who
talking
this is.
about?
I'll tell you who it is in
Me?
like
Yeah.
30 seconds.
Yeah, shall we do the...
Do you have anything to plug?
No.
Okay, cool.
Post-comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
Yep.
Don't you usually start this bit?
Oh, yeah, to the next step.
To the next step.
To the next step.
Rose, can you tell me what your second favorite hairstyle of mine was?